Not one penny of your tax money should be sent to go out to hurt our interests, our allies, or even sent to entities like this. By continuing to send money to UNRWA, we're literally funding terrorism. I'm going to continue to fight against this. Hey everybody, I hope that you're all having a great weekend. As always, I'm here with an update on what has happened in Washington, D.C. this week. I have a lot to discuss, from my bill to abolish the U.S.-funded UN agency that has enabled the Hamas attack on October 7th, to work the House Republicans did to address the border crisis affecting all Americans across this country. Let's get started on all of it. First up, House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Oversight and Accountability, which I'm the chairman of, held a hearing to take a closer look at what is known as UNRWA and what they do. Now, in case you're unaware, UNRWA, that's an acronym. It's otherwise known as the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East. They claim that they serve the Palestine refugees, but they hire roughly 30,000 Palestinians, that many of which are actually Hamas, or Palestinian Islamic Jihad, or Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, or Lion's Den. Those are all Palestine terrorist organizations. Or if they are not directly individuals that label themselves that terrorist organization, they are individuals that support those terrorist organizations, whether by allowing bombs or rockets or tunnels to essentially be stored or built underneath the UNRWA facilities. Donald Trump shut off funding to UNRWA. Well done. Joe Biden turned it back on. Terrible decision. Now Joe Biden, it seems he wants America to think that he's had a change of heart. He saw the folly of his ways, that it was a mistake, and so he decided he's going to pause funding to UNRWA. He announced that on January 26. Now, why is that change of a heart a total lie? Because while he made that announcement on January 26, what he was doing was he was waiting until January 24, when the State Department and the Treasury and the U.S. government had completed an allocation of money of $121 million of your dollars to UNRWA. This is not how your tax dollars should be used. What do the Democrats want? Well, why don't you listen to the Democrats from their own lips for yourself?
I am not here to defend UNRWA, which has many shortcomings, well documented, including here today. So let's start with its most immediate failures. We've talked about those. They fired 12 staff who, based on reporting and the strength and rapidity, I would say, of the U.S. pause as well on funding, were clearly operatives who participated in the barbaric ISIS-like Hamas attack on Israelis. And there are allegations that more of the 13,000 Palestinians on UNRWA's payroll may be affiliated in some way with the Hamas movement.
So the Democrats are clear. They cannot defend what UNRWA has done. But what do they want, even though they can't defend UNRWA? They want to keep sending them your money. For the Democrats, there is no threshold for bad behavior for UNRWA. It doesn't matter if it's one Hamas individual working for UNRWA, 100 or 1,000, or the list goes on and on. For them, no threshold for bad behavior. They can't defend them, but they're going to send them your money across the seas to pay these people to essentially use your dollars to conduct terrorism. This is why I introduced a bill to literally disband UNRWA and to transfer all of its responsibilities to another agency that serves all refugees, like the Rohingya refugees and the Sudanese refugees. Why should the Palestinian people get their own special classification of refugee, which has really allowed a lot of this that's taking place to happen? There's no reason to elevate UNRWA, this organization that's tied to terrorists, to help Hamas plan out the next attacks against Israel. By continuing to send money to UNRWA, we're literally funding terrorism. I'm going to continue to fight against this. I want to switch gears here. On the House floor this week, we passed several bills aimed at keeping the American people safe during Joe Biden's border crisis, another place that he has a crisis going on. Now, all of the vital bills that we passed, I want to talk specifically about the consequences for Social Security Fraud Act. You shouldn't have to write a law in Congress about this, but because of the way Joe Biden operates the border, We do have to write a law about this. We see over and over again illegal immigrants who commit Social Security fraud, steal the money from hardworking Americans by stealing their Social Security numbers. In 2017, there was 1.2 million cases where an illegal immigrant used a stolen or fabricated Social Security number. That's why the House passed Consequences for Social Security Fraud Act to ensure that illegal migrants who commit crime to hurt hardworking Americans are held accountable and not allowed to remain in the United States. Now, this should be common sense that they shouldn't be allowed to remain in the United States to begin with, even if they don't commit fraud with Social Security. But for the Biden administration, unfortunately, crime does pay for them. In so many different examples, you can say that the Biden administration makes crime pay. This border crisis is owned by Joe Biden. His intentional policy to bring people into the United States of America illegally is what we see playing out before our eyes. These are the numbers since Joe Biden took office. There have been over 8.3 million illegal crossings nationwide. There have been over 7 million illegal crossings just on our southern border. There have been 1.7 million known gotaways who evaded the U.S. Border Patrol and will essentially never be seen again. And just this past December, there were more than 300,000 illegal crossings on our southern border in just 1 month, making it the highest number of encounters in a single month ever recorded. Now, additionally, I was glad to see the House Homeland Security Committee voted to advance articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, who has absolutely failed in his job, lied to the American people, lied to Congress countless times. It is beyond breaking the American people's trust. Refusing to comply with immigration laws enacted by Congress is one of the many impeachable offenses by Secretary Mayorkas that is putting the American people at risk across the country. And I'm going to keep you updated on what takes place with that. Now, finally, I led a roundtable on the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee of Oversight and Accountability to shed light on what's known as Taliban reprisals after the withdrawal. What does that mean, Taliban reprisals after the withdrawal? Well, all of those people, you can think of how long we were at war in Afghanistan, 20 plus years, that were helping Americans over there. Interpreters that I worked with, people that we worked with in a variety of different ways on the battlefield. Those individuals and their families are being hunted down like hogs to be slaughtered by the Taliban. They are literally on the run, on the lam. Now, there's an old saying that goes like this. When you lie, you have to tell another lie, and another lie, and another lie to cover up the first lie, the initial lie. Now, in my view, the Biden administration is caught in that kind of cycle of lies since the catastrophic withdrawal from Afghanistan to make that catastrophic withdrawal look like a success story. They have to lie. Now, you can see this directly from President Biden's own remarks. President Biden called the evacuation an extraordinary success. We know that that was a lie. President Biden said that if there were American citizens left after August 31, we're going to stay until we get all of them out. That was a pathetic lie. And in a foreign affairs hearing in this September of last year, a Biden official said that she didn't believe that the administration had seen a consistent pattern of those Afghans who worked and supported American efforts in Afghanistan being murdered by a Taliban. That is a massive lie. I'm not going to go through all of the examples, but take a listen to what was said.
Banu Nagar, an Afghan police officer, was shot dead in front of her husband and children while she was 8 months pregnant. Mohammed Hashim, an Afghan police chief who had helped the United States, was tortured for 49 days and then was hanged to death. Haji Akazi, a government security official, surrendered since the Taliban had pledged amnesty. He was killed. Allah Halimi, a military officer, arrested in August with no charge. A week later, his family received his body without his head. 96% of SIV applicants were left behind. 70% of U.S. troops say that their interpreters did not make it out or they lost contact with them.
The special operations veteran who received these videos and who served in Iraq and Afghanistan describes this retaliation as the most horrific carnage he has seen in his life. What will this veteran tell his children when they ask him if they should follow in his footsteps and join the military?
Here's one of the reasons why this still matters even after several years. This chapter is still being written as we speak. The initial lie of the withdrawal being a success is resulting in the cover-up of these people being hunted like hogs. As someone who fought for this country in Afghanistan, along with hundreds of thousands of brothers and sisters in arms, I'm going to continue to call the Biden administration out for the lies that it continues to spew on a daily basis. In that, it is an honor to serve you. I hope that you all have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all around. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.